sessions, and it'll be the special and the last session for today. And after that, I just want to remind you in advance that after the last session, we actually have a reception right here outside in our institute. So it'll be, I don't know what they're going to have, maybe chicken and eggs, American beef and whatnot. So if you can, please stay and join us for dinner, and then we'll just all eat in the other room, sitting next to each other. So hopefully it will be good food and further conversation from us. So I'll just leave the floor to Professor Shan to chair the last session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to this special section, as you can see from the program. And this is the special arrangement of Andy. Because usually in academic conferences, we do not have debate poets, but writers speaking to the audience. So today we are very privileged to have a poet here. Actually, I was asked by them to give only one line bio of each one of them. So I will follow the instructions since poet is the legislator of the world. Okay, Winter-Bloom, the poet, and he wants to let poems speak for themselves. And Professor Gayle Sato, Win's friend, and their critical friend, if you like. As for me, I'm their friend. And some additional notes, I think, are needed here. Mr. Winter-Bloom has to his credit a collection of poems expounding the lateral point. Also has been a very important figure in the literary scene in Hawaii, especially has been something like a volunteer for Bamboo Ridge, which is one of the representative literary groups in Hawaii, working for, I think, more than 3 decades. For Professor Gayle Sato, Professor Gayle Sato is a professor in Minji University and has quite a number of important essays to her credit, especially essays on war and memory as related subject. So without further ado, let us welcome the poet.
Ammunition and supplies need to be carried. Men from the village are press ganged. When a few drop from exhaustion, they are killed, and others are quickly found to take their places. Farmers are forced to wade through a manure pit to retrieve hidden valuables, though nothing is found. Half of them freeze to death. When army rations taste bland, a family's cellar is plundered. A small town needs to be cowed, so the elders are beheaded in a square, the townspeople beseeching. A resistance fighter is caught. Information must be tortured out of him. Too many prisoners of war have surrendered like cowardly dogs. There is no place to keep or feed them, so they are slaughtered en masse. New draftees need to practice bayonet charges, so prisoners are tied to stakes and stabbed repeatedly. When a machine gun needs to be tested, other prisoners are rounded up as targets. Factory workers are sent across the field that must be cleared of mines. When a teacher fails to bow an officer as an example, humbles him senseless. The watchdogs are hungry. A man is bound to a tree, his flesh sliced off, strip by strip, to feed them. Young soldiers roaming the city need diversions. They raid homes for women to rape. A brother tries to protect his elder sister. He is summarily shot. Those women who protect or resist are killed as bothersome. The others who succumb are also killed to prevent them from speaking up. Some women that are kidnapped are kept in hospital to wash clothes by day. Throughout the night, they are also raped. Houses are looted indiscriminately. Money, food, jewelry, clothing, furniture to be worn or sent back home. To hide the evidence, the houses are then put to the torch. When too many corpses litter the streets, refugees are seized to dig mass graves. Afterwards, they too are pushed in and buried alive. Other bodies are disposed of, piled up into mounds, doused with gasoline and set on fire, or they are shoved into the river or just left to rot amidst the rest of the rubble. Some of the dead are dumped into a canal which needs to be crossed. Boards and doors are then laid on the top and sides to form a corpse bridge. A young girl keeps wailing over her mother's dead body all night. So soldiers smothered her to get back to sleep. This poem is entitled Pragmatic. It is based on an observation by R.J. Rummel, who was a professor at the University of Hawaii, who said that the Japanese, during all of this period of time during the Nanjing Massacre, had a practical motive for doing what they did. In researching for this poem, I also discovered a lot of other incidences, egregious incidences, which were based on whims. And so I have a companion poem, equally as long, that is entitled Capricious. I hope that this poem was able to convey some of the intense chaos and cruelty of the 6-week period beginning in mid-December in 1937, when the Japanese invaded China and after capturing the capital city, Nanjing, wreaked havoc on the surrounding military defenders and civilian population. In the West, this event was called the Rape of Nanking for a while, and China is the Nanking Massacre. Over the past 13 years, I have written some 70 poems on this event. And over these years, many of these poems I have shared with Professor Shan, and he has given me much encouragement. So I'm very honored that he is introducing me today. I'm also doubly honored that Professor Sato, another longtime friend, will afterwards offer some constructive criticism. We have engaged in fruitful dialogue on my writing over the years, and I also look forward to your responses on these poems as well. Today I'm going to share with you a cross-section of the poems from this 70-poem manuscript. The first section of poems includes several poems about the forebodings of the inhabitants before the actual storming of Nanjing. One of them is entitled The Hand Cart. They have loaded up the cart with as much as they can carry. Their writing table, a scatter of chairs, a cast iron kettle, pots and bowls, dried vegetables and saltfish wrapped in oil paper, and bags of rice hidden underneath inside buckets covered with tarp. Extra clothing is stuffed into crevices. A rolled up rug sticks out. Woven blankets hang from the legs of a ladder. Everywhere ropes snake under and about, lashing together all that is loose. 3 children sit atop bundles of firewood, weighing down the back as ballast. The mother, brows knitted, is perched cross-legged on the table above, as if in the crow's nest of a boat, a captain surveying the road ahead. Her one hand grasps the table's edge to keep herself from sliding off. The other clutches their newborn, swaddled in a thick down blanket. From behind, the father leans into the cart, pushing it forward on its 2 hard wheels. It is a balancing act to keep up the momentum without scraping the ground in the front or the back. He must keep them moving for as long as his legs hold out, for as far away as they can get. My next 2 poems are actually about the fighting, or perhaps just after the fighting, both written from the point of view of the Japanese invaders. This is called The Near Dead. They lie cast about as if by a sudden whirlwind, some faces pressed into the ground, some staring up at the sky, some without faces anymore. There are bodies that are contorted, arched, or curled up and inert, like